Well, folks, it's that time of year again where I must recap all the crap I suffered through in 2014. And this year, while my best of list was actually rather hard to make, this one I had no problem making, because this was actually a decent year for movies. So, making a worst of list really wasn't that hard. I knew hands down what the worst movies I saw this year were. So, without further ado, these are my picks for the absolute worst, atrocious films of 2014. Yeah, what happens when you try to take Titanic, Gladiator, and Dante's Peak and make them all the same fucking movie? You get fucking Pompeii. In this movie, really nothing worked. The acting was shit. The story was so fucking tired and cliche. Like, literally, it's Gladiator and Titanic. It's the Gladiator setup with the Titanic love story and the whole fucking tragedy bullshit that we've seen a million fucking times before. We actually have not had a movie based on a real-life event be this fucking terrible since Pearl Harbor. Movies like this need to stop, but you see, that would actually mean that Paul W.S. Anderson would have to stop making films, and I'm just not that lucky. I recently had to read the book that this movie was based on for my college course, and sadly, this movie actually put me to sleep faster than the book did. That's quite a fucking accomplishment. And yes, this is yet another YA adaptation because, you know, Hollywood is just scraping the bottom of the fucking barrel now, apparently, because this story fucking blows. Okay, we're in a future where people apparently have no emotions, but this kid gets emotions from this old dude, and he wants to cross this barrier, which apparently will give everyone back their emotions. How? I don't fucking know. It just fucking does. It's science. A wizard did it. Take your fucking pick. This movie was ungodly boring, ungodly stupid, and well worth a spot on this list. The Conjuring was actually an awesome horror movie. Its spin-off, Annabelle, not so much. It's actually kind of funny because this movie was given to us by the same guy who directed Mortal Kombat ass raping, and yet it really wasn't all of his fault. The main problems with this film were the crappy script and the crappy acting. I mean, the film is shot competently, but Leonetti has absolutely no script here. Unfortunately, he's just given a sequence of events that he's given the impossible task of making scary, but none of the events really are scary, so the movie just comes across as a fucking waste of potential. Okay, gonna get a lot of shit for this next one, but, Godzilla was probably my biggest fucking letdown this year. I am so pissed at this movie. And please, don't give me that bullshit, oh, well, it's more like the original. You've obviously never seen a Godzilla film in your life. No, it's not like the fucking original, okay? The original fucking Godzilla film had nothing to do with Godzilla fighting other monsters and shit. The original Godzilla film was a cautionary tale about how nuclear weapons created him, and we had only ourselves to blame for it. The other monsters and him being the protector didn't come till much fucking later, so shut the fuck up! But that's not why I hate the movie. I hate this movie because it's a Godzilla film, and it is so boring. Okay, yes, in the other Godzilla films, Godzilla wasn't in much of them, and the movies really just revolved around the human characters around him. Yes, that is true, but the other human characters in those movies were compelling, at least. These characters are so one-note, they're such cardboard cutouts. I mean, I can't take any of them fucking seriously. I remember none of their names. The only interesting character in this entire movie was Bryan Cranston's character, and he dies like 40 fucking minutes in. The movie's over 2 hours long. The only good character dies 40 minutes in. The best scene in this movie involved Bryan Cranston and his wife at the very beginning of the film when he sees his wife die. That scene was very heartfelt. It worked. It was emotionally powerful. The problem is the movie fails to ever top that scene. Even with the scenes of Godzilla, which are very fucking rare in this movie, it never tops that opening scene. When you can't top the opening scene of your movie, you have a fucking problem on your hands. I'll admit, when Godzilla's fighting, it looks really cool. Hell, even the design for him looks awesome, okay? But it's hardly enough to compensate for a boring-ass fucking movie with terrible characters, terrible direction, and just all around corny ass writing. There is nothing interesting about this film other than watching Godzilla's breath go out of his mouth. So, yeah, sorry, this movie sucked. From the bottom of my soul, let me tell you, Noah can go fucking die. Darren Aronofsky, who is one of my favorite directors, okay, this man gave me The Fountain, which is one of my favorite films. He gave me Black Swan, which was my favorite film of 2010. So I know he's a great director. Okay, I don't know what the fuck happened with this film. Darren Aronofsky paints a picture of Noah where he's actually an honest-to-God fucking psychopath. Okay, there's a scene in this movie where he literally lets a, young woman who he could have easily saved get trampled to death. Okay, there's another scene towards the end where he attempts to murder 2 babies with a knife. But, you know, he's the one that gets to live because he serves the will of God. You know what? If that's the kind of person Noah is, he didn't deserve to survive the flood. He deserved to be blown to fucking smithereens. Noah was an asshole in this movie. He treated his family like shit. The only thing decent in this movie was some of the acting. I mean, Emma Watson's great as always, Logan Lerman's great as always, Jennifer Connelly great as always, Anthony Hopkins, Ray Winstone. I mean, the whole cast is really fucking good. Okay, the problem is, this movie is terrible. It's shot horribly, it's written horribly, it's just a piece of shit. If it wasn't evident when I put this movie on my list of comic book films worse than Batman and Robin, it should be evident when I put it on this list that I fucking hated I, Frankenstein. How the hell did Aaron Eckhart sink to such a fucking low? I guess he made Dark Knight and just decided, well, you know, I made a movie that was good, so now I gotta make fucking crap for the rest of my career. This was apparently an attempt to turn Frankenstein into a fucking action hero where he's fighting alongside gargoyles who, for some fucking reason, look like angels. Why do you have gargoyles that look like angels? Why don't you just call them angels? They have angel wings! The CGI is awful, the acting is god-awful, the script is awful, everything in this movie is awful. And on top of all this, it just spits in the face of a great novel by Mary Shelley. I just wanted her to rise from the grave after seeing this movie and just murder Aaron Eckhart with a rusty carving knife. And I'm sorry, but how does Jay Courtney keep getting work? He's horrible. Horrible. And yet they have the balls to cast him as Kyle Reese in the new Terminator? Boo! I mean, my God, watch this, watch Divergent, watch A Good Day to Die Hard. He can't fucking act. Stop giving him work. Like Annabelle, Ouija wasn't yet another film that I just got done ripping a new asshole for Halloween on Christmas. And like the film on my number 5 spot, it's produced by Platinum Dunes, so that should just mean it's a piece of shit from the get-go. Guys, it's a horror film about a board game. A fucking board game. Like I said in my review, they are trying to scare me with something that I can buy at Toys R Us for 10 fucking bucks. I mean, come on guys, really? This is really the best you got? I swear, this movie sets a record for the most jump scares in a horror film, although I did see Woman in Black 2 recently, so that gave it a run for its money, but no, this one's still worse. I swear, the acting is horrible, the writing's horrible, the directing's horrible. It isn't at all fucking scary, and the entire twist at the end just has the rest of the movie not make any sense. It's just a piece of shit. Steer clear. Last Christmas, I was given a gift card to my local movie theater. Why I wasted that card on an entry in a series that I fucking hate is beyond me, but I'm pretty sure booze must have been involved. This was, bar none, the worst in the entire series. It was so bad that even fans of the series were calling bullshit on it. I mean, the whole goddamn series is boring and stupid enough on its own, but this one actually tried to throw time travel into the mix. Fucking time travel. This series that everyone has been praising for being so realistic had time travel in it. Really? Are you fucked? I don't care how awesome Angelina Jolie is in Maleficent, this movie is still a pile of shit. Yeah, let's take the mistress of all evil and make her the good one in this story. We're gonna take Aurora and Prince Philip and give them even less screen time so we can make them even blander than they already were. We're gonna take the kind, good-hearted, worried King Stefan from the original and make him the evil villain. And lastly, we're gonna take the awesome fairies from the original film and make them into the 3 biggest dumb shits you will ever see in your life. Dude, fuck this. Like, really, fuck this. Why would you take a character, the single greatest Disney villainess of all time, and make her this misunderstood little bunny rabbit? Are you fucking high? Seriously, after this and Oz the Great and Powerful, Disney can just go eat my ass. I have a theory that if Warwick Davis saw Leprechaun Origins for himself, he'd probably kill himself just so he could turn on his grave. And I gotta say, it's quite sad that this is the worst entry in the Leprechaun series ever. Oh yes, this did more damage to horror than sending the Leprechaun to fucking space. It was never scary, it had terrible writing, terrible characters, terrible direction, and the Leprechaun himself didn't look like the iconic Leprechaun anymore. It looked like a discount Pumpkinhead puppet that someone picked up at a fucking dollar store. There was literally not a thing worth seeing this movie for. Some of the movies I mentioned earlier you could probably argue are worse than this one, but I'm sorry. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just piss me the fuck off because, like Maleficent, this killed something from my childhood that I fucking loved. And it's something that I still love. The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is one of my favorite movies. So, yeah, not even Godzilla hurt me as much as this did. The script is terrible and just an obvious victim of several rewrites and several people including their own shit and just not being able to agree on anything. And it just becomes this cluttered fucking mess that I don't even know how the hell got made. I mean, how did somebody look at this finished script and say, yup, that makes sense? None of it makes any goddamn sense. Almost every plot point in this movie contradicts itself. The entire climax of the film, as well as the backstory for April O'Neil, are stolen wholesale from The Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, note for note, it's The Amazing Spider-Man. And I feel mostly bad for the actors playing the Turtles, because they actually did a good job. Like, they actually got 4 people to play the Turtles who actually fit the personalities of the characters. Unfortunately, the movie felt the need to just turn them into badly written stereotypes of themselves. Let's give Donnie glasses because, you know, he's the smart one, so he has glasses. Oh, why does Michelangelo have the necklace and all the skateboard and all the stuff on him? Because he's the party dude, man. Why does Raphael have the full head bandana? Because he's the mean one, man. He's the badass. Why does Leonardo have a bamboo shield on his chest? I don't know, I guess leaders have a bamboo shield in their chest. Yeah, this movie's fucking horrible. And really, that was the worst thing for me, was the fucking character designs. The Turtles look like Shrek with turtle shell backpacks on. Splinter looks so fucking hideous. I mean, it's hard to even look at him when he's on screen. I mean, it sickened me to look at him. Alright, like, you can argue, oh, well, it's a rat. He doesn't even look like a real rat. He looks like a fucking weasel. For some reason, Splinter isn't even Japanese in this version, yet he has a Fu Manchu. Explain that one. The Splinter in the original films looked like a rat, okay? But they didn't make him hideous looking. He had a welcoming presence to him. And please, don't even get me started on Shredder. He's wearing armor that even fucking Megatron would call excessive. I'm sorry, this movie was awful. The fucking definition of awful. But I guess I should be grateful that my review with Stormzing for that movie ended up on the Will Wheaton Project. That was pretty awesome. Yeah. Fuck you, Sci-Fi! I want season 2! I hate this place. I love the Ten Commandments, I love Prince of Egypt, but Exodus, Gods and Kings was just an overbloated, rushed albatross of filmmaking. Like Noah, this was made by yet another director who I greatly admire, Ridley Scott. And I'm sorry, I'm one of the biggest Ridley Scott apologists you will ever find. Even when he makes a bad movie, okay, I'm still defending him like, okay, well, you know, he made a bad movie, whatever. You know what? I'm done defending it. Okay, either he's gonna make a great movie or he's gonna make a terrible movie. This was a terrible movie. In fact, I would go as far as to say this is his worst film, and I've seen Robin Hood. Scott, for whatever reason, just felt the need to rush the entire story between Moses and Ramses, rush the whole story in general, to the point where nothing really added up, and instead of actually having character development or letting things flow organically within the story, he replaced all that with fucking action scenes, because, you know, that's what was missing from this story, fucking action scenes. Aaron Paul, Ben Kingsley, Sigourney Weaver, John Turturro, all of them are in this movie and they're entirely useless. Literally, you could just remove any one of them from this movie and you'd have the same film. They have no purpose in this fucking film other than to show up when the plot requires it. And I'm sorry, it's a fucking waste. You're wasting great talent. Most people have complained that half the cast is white. That didn't bother me. I don't care that half the cast is white. I care that the movie is crap. Okay, I have nothing against people expressing their religious beliefs through any medium. Like, they want to do it through radio, TV, film. I don't give a shit. But when you actively try to make me feel like an asshole for liking presents on Christmas because, according to you, St. Nicholas was a bully, he used to beat the crap out of children and just random people, and he was an asshole for no reason, and Kirk Cameron, go fuck yourself. This movie is so bad that it's almost sort of amazing. I think Christy Lemire said it best when she said that this was the Room of 2014, because it essentially is. It really is an enjoyably horrendous film. I mean, honestly, I would love to watch this movie drunk. I was pissed off at Cameron's arrogance, which is ultimately why it ended up at number 3. But even I'll admit, I laughed at how bad this movie was. It wasn't enough for me to ever watch it sober again, but, you know, it was enough to keep it out of the number 1 spot. The film in my number 2 spot, I actually had no ambition to see. I had actually never heard of it until I saw Chris Stuckman's review of it, where he called it one of the worst movies he'd ever seen in his life. To which I responded, well, I have to see it now. And I'm still regretting the decision I made to go and see. You know how when you go see a Nicolas Cage movie, you can at least expect a batshit crazy performance from him if the movie turns out terrible? Yeah, this ain't no Wicker Man, my friends. This was just religious pandering at its finest. Not a single performance was good. Not even Cage, who was clearly trying to do something, and it just didn't work. It's shot horribly, it's acted horribly, it's edited horribly, and it's written like something the Westboro Baptist Church would use for a fucking Christmas special. I mean, seriously, all it's missing is Frosty nailed to the fucking cross. Like I said for Saving Christmas, honestly, I have nothing against people expressing their religious beliefs. That doesn't bother me. Horrible religious films that have no idea what they're talking about half the time and seem to thrive on making their audiences dumber with each passing second do fucking bother me. What? Why do I even need to announce it? You all know it's Transformers: Age of Extinction. No movie tested my patience or my tolerance for bad filmmaking like this film did. Not even 30 minutes into this Michael Bay jizz explosion, I was begging for it to fucking end. It's 3 hours of nothing happening. No story. Pointless exposition. Paper thin and annoying characters. This movie, it's a marvel of bad filmmaking. And I know it was a Michael Bay film. I wasn't expecting anything going in, but my God, this took the horrible aspects of the other 3 Transformers films and just intensified them. Like, oh my God, I'm so glad he's out of this franchise. I don't think this could have gotten worse. I was in pain sitting through this fucking movie. This movie, seriously, I swear, it has no idea way to fucking end. You know, the other 3 Transformers films at least knew the importance of a 3-act structure. 1 act, 2 act, 3 act, end. But this doesn't. It doesn't stop. You think it's in the 3rd act and it's about to end, but no, it's somewhere in the beginning of the fucking 2nd act. And there's still an hour and a half to go. It's supposed to end, but it just keeps going and going like the fucking Energizer Bunny shoving a dick in your ass. The effects this time were shit. You know, I can at least give the other 3 movies that. Okay, at least the effects looked finished. And I'm sorry, I don't care if that fucking horrendous actress who attempted to play Katara in the last Airbender movie is hot now. The movie doesn't get points for that shit. She's still a horrible fucking actress. And I love how the advertising just kept showing the Dinobots and kept showing Optimus Prime on Grimlock. And yet the movie had the balls. It had the fucking audacity to only show them at the very end. For like a minute. You could have removed the Dinobots completely from this fucking movie and it wouldn't have made a difference. Okay, you want to know how long it took for the Dinobots to get into this movie? When I was in the film, on one side of me was Spidey. On the other side was a little kid and his father. Okay, the minute before the Dinobots finally showed up, which was about 2.5 fucking hours in, if not more than that, because, you know, the movie's 3 fucking hours and it won't stop. The kid got up because he had to pee. And by the time he got back, the Dinobots were all gone. And the time it took someone to piss, the Dinobots had come and left. Yeah. This was a movie where every 5 minutes, I just sat there, looking at the screen going, I don't care. I don't care anymore. Just fucking end already. Make Michael Bay stop. That is how boring and tedious and repetitive with its bullshit this movie is. I once said in my vlog review for this movie with Joel that I was going to do an epic film fail on this. I can't. I will never watch this movie again. I can't watch this movie again. I would not wish this recycled pile of wasted thought on my worst enemy. I'm sorry, guys. There was just no movie like this year. No movie pissed me off like this one, and any movie that could make me feel as bad as this film did deserves the #1 spot. It is the absolute worst film of 2014. Oh God, I need a drink.